Hello everyone, welcome to this live chat, quarantine, fitness and life. Just pinning the information to this group chat, if Instagram allows me to, and our guest is now here, so I'll request him. He should be joining us shortly. Hope everyone is well. There we go. Simon is in the building.
Here he is. All right.
Yeah. I'm having problems trying to pin the information of this chat here. You know, a few technical glitches. Hang on, hopefully let me do it now. Yeah, just so people know what's going on here.
Oh, nice one. Sean's in the house already.
Yeah.
Hello, boy.
Got a UKUP guy as well to join us as well. Right, I'll just keep on reposting that so people know what's going on. But yeah, cool. So since Simon is here, let us get this underway. So welcome everyone to my new Instagram series due to the outbreak of a certain virus, which I'm sure everyone in the world now knows all about. So this is called Quarantine, Fitness and Life, and it's just really to sort of like go through my experience, Simon's experience, and I'll be getting different guests on as well. So really it's our experiences of lockdown life and how it's affecting all parts of our life. But since we're fitness professionals, that's going to be sort of main slant to sort of help people try and improve their fitness during this sort of like tough times. But we will be talking about everything because this is affecting all sorts of factors. So I've got here my main guest for this, main co-host. So that is Simon Chandler, who is at Shredded with Simon on Instagram as well. So how are you doing, Simon?
Oh, not too bad, mate. Not too bad yourself.
Yeah, as good as I can do. I suppose it's just a case of adjusting. I think that's really the main thing about this, isn't it? I think a lot of people feel really in limbo with this because it's like 3 weeks ago everything was just normality, and I don't think anyone could have really imagined what would happen in the following 3 weeks to lead us to where we are now. Is that what you sort of agree with?
I think one of the main things that everyone's got to try and do is let go of what normal means for them now, because it's going to be a long haul, so we've got to get used to
it. Yeah, exactly, and I think that's a really good sort of point that you sort of have raised. This really is our new normal for quite a bit, and I think that really is the situation that we need to sort of think about, that not really, how long is this new normal going to last for, when we're going to get back to things that the way they used to be. We've just got to adapt to the situation that we're in now and sort of really take each day as it comes. I mean, is that something you'd agree with, Simon?
But what I'm trying to do now is just see it as this is what I'm doing. So I'm not using it as like a period of waiting to getting back to normal. Exactly. So like, this is what I've got to do now. So for example, like with training, got to find ways to make training good from home. Yes. Which is new to me, and it's probably fairly new to most people who do what we do, because you generally would go to a gym, right? So it's different, but there's no reason it can't be effective. So I'm trying not to miss what I used to do. I'm trying to learn new things about what I need to do now, really.
Yeah, and I think in what you've said, that's really the case for almost everything we're doing, because be it the case that some people are working from home, some people are having to homeschool kids, it's just all new. So it's just really a case that we just need to sit, schedule and learn how we're really going to do these things. And in that, it takes a bit of time to work that out. But once we sort of work that out, then that becomes our sort of new structure, our new normal, to keep on using that phrase. And in that will give us a lot more comfort with what we're doing. I think right now, because everything is new and everything is so up in there, I think that's what's leading to a lot of anxiety with people, because they don't really know how to structure things or really what to do, and that's causing the panic. So I think once we sort of like give ourselves a structure, work out what we want to do, then things will feel as in control for us as we possibly can be in this sort of time, you know? Is that really what you feel with now trying to devise your home workout schedule? Do you feel that you've got a sense of control over what really the situation is, or at least over in the fitness, your own personal fitness stuff?
I think so now. I've got to be honest. Like, I'm always honest on our chats. When this first started, the uncertainty of everything, like what's happening, and obviously, and a lot of people are in the same boat. Where's my money coming from? For a lot of people, that was a worry. Before the government said we're going to help everyone, which is great. But so the uncertainty, and that led me to be a little bit lethargic and not really want to do anything, because I was kind of like what you said earlier, in limbo.
Yeah.
So, and I think, but now I'm like, okay, this is what's happening, and stuck with it. Then, you know, because now we know that you have to do that. You have to stay at home. This is your set of rules you have to follow. I think it's been easier since then. But a lot of people I spoke to said at the beginning, it was like, oh, I don't really know what's happening now. And people had, like, I wanted to train, but I was so stressed out about other things like professional life and stuff. So I was like, oh, I don't really know. I can't focus. But now that's done, and I can sort of go forward with it. It's better now. But I think that was, like you said, anxiety. A lot of people, even like, I'm usually pretty stress-free, and a lot of stuff doesn't really bother me. But I went through like a week of like, oh my God, this is so like properly stressful.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that a lot of people really won't have ever really needed to face, as you said. But in general, not much really stresses you out. But the crazy thing about this is, regardless of what gender anyone is, what race anyone is, what religion anyone is, what job someone does, how rich or poor someone is, it doesn't matter. We're all affected by this. And in a way, there's some sort of comfort that we're actually all are in this together. And that is really part of the reason why I even created this sort of like Instagram Live series, to sort of like bring people together that way, and to show that even if we're going through tough times, or even if some people have managed to get away through it, this is a great platform to try and share that and to help each other through it. So, I mean, as we're speaking, guys, I mean, if there's any questions that you sort of have, or things that you think would sort of contribute well to the people that are listening, or just things that you would want to ask, or that you're going through, then please write them down, because I think it'll be sort of good things to sort of converse about and chat about here as well. But yeah, I mean, so what have been the sort of like main things, I mean, that you feel you need to sort of like implement in to sort of maximize what you can actually get out of your home workouts, and just to actually keep yourself in shape during this time? Because I mean, we're on lockdown. It's lockdown UK.
Well, I'm gonna correct you with what you said there, because this is what everyone is saying. Everyone, how am I going to keep in shape? This is the first mistake, that you can't make progress in lockdown, because you definitely can. That's my number one thing, is that even if you don't have any equipment whatsoever, there are ways and means to make progress in lockdown. But the hardest thing for everyone, I think, is getting into the mentality, because a lot of people go to the gym for the atmosphere, myself included. I found when I was at home and I'm trying to train hard, it's hard to get in the mindset to really train hard. But it's not because I can't, and it's not because there aren't things I can do. Like, you can implement time under tension is one of the first things you can use, slowing movements down. Obviously, too slow and you're not really getting any additional benefit. So you can do like 2 to 3 to maybe 4 second negatives. But like studies show, after you get past that kind of 4 or 5 second, really there's no more benefit after that. So there's only a certain amount of slow that's going to be useful. Also, using stuff you've got laying around the house. Backpacks have been super useful for me. I just have a backpack and filling it with stuff and doing push-ups. And to be honest, the other day, I hit failure after 8 reps on a weighted push-up. It's like doing a bench press. That's my 8 reps bench press. My chest is getting the same stimulus. But I found with a lot of people, because you don't know how much everything weighs unless you're really methodical and you weigh your tins of beans or whatever you're using. Like, people aren't doing that. So the biggest thing that I've been implementing now is just going to failure on every single step. So I'm using failure as my guide so that I've stimulated enough muscle, rather than say I'll get to 12 with a weight, because I know I did 12 with that weight last week. It's harder to gauge, especially if people using bands, because you stand an inch closer, an inch further away, and you've changed the resistance anyway. So failure has been a big useful tool for me as well. And just getting creative with it, because you can overload. If I put a backpack on and do dips, it's no different from me going to the gym and doing like a proper weighted dip. Like, also, I could use my weights belt, but I don't have any weights at home. I'm in the same boat as nearly everyone, because I don't have any equipment at home apart from some bands. That's it. That's all I have. So I'm doing everything. I even wrap the bands around my body and do push-ups. So then that's adding resistance. There's all different ways you can have resistance. So I don't know what you think. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff that you're doing, but I think on every muscle group there's a way to still make progress during quarantine if you're using your noggin about it.
Yeah.
It's just if you're motivated enough to do it. That's the point.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of good points that you sort of like raised in terms of home training. And I think the key one, this is what I've seen a lot of sort of Facebook groups that people talk about, the sort of motivation. Like, it's funny how when people do have gyms, they still talk about motivation to go to the gym, but now they're not there. They're going, oh, well, the gym's not there, so not the motivation to train. You're like, well, which one is it? It's like, when the gym's open, you have motivation, but now it's not there. You're going, well, I don't have the motivation because the gym's not there. But ultimately, it's about understanding our methods of being able to train. Simon, you came up with quite a few sort of points there in terms of training to failure. So really, I think I wanted to delve into really what that means, because I think a lot of people, it's a word to hear, but it's to actually do it properly is quite hard. And it's really till that point where you really can't do an extra full rep, you're going to that stage. And the thing is, with body weight training and training at home, it's actually very safe to a degree to do that. I mean, let's say someone was doing heavy squats at a gym, to go to failure on that might be a bit risky. Because you're using like a lot of weight and things. If you get stuck at the bottom, you could be pretty screwed. There might not be any way out. But with body weight training, you can go to that failure and that's really it. And then you go, okay, then that's what Simon said. That's where he's gauging if he's done enough. So it might be the case that, let's say he's put a backpack on and put about 3 or 5 books in there, and he goes, okay, well, I'll go to failure that, and with that he's able to get 20 reps. I mean, yes, he can add another book in there, and then maybe that failure might be 18 or 17, but it's not necessarily about per se cutting reps, it's just keeping on going. So it's really all about putting that sort of intensity into our training. So I mean, that's really the sort of a key part to failure. Is that sort of what you would agree with in terms of failure, or is there anything that you'd want to add to?
I think in terms of failure, it's all good going to failure at every workout, but you need to track it somehow so you can ensure that there's some progressive overload.
Yeah.
So if I go to failure with 20 reps with 3 books, and then next week I went to failure, but it was 3 books and it was 18 reps. I'm not going to get any real benefits. I'm not moving forward. So you have to still try and integrate progressive overload into your workouts if you want to make progress beyond maintenance. So it could be adding an extra book and then going for that 20 over the next few weeks. What I've noticed with a lot of the workouts, and I don't want to knock anyone who's doing home workouts because everyone's in the same boat and everyone's posting stuff, but there's no goal in those. None of the workouts I've seen have a goal. Like for me, it would be, for example, I would like to be able to do 10 handstand push-ups by the end of quarantine. For example, at the moment I can only do 5. So I've got a goal to get to by the end of quarantine. But at the moment it's like, I'll do 20 reps of body weight squats, do 20 reps. That's great, it's stimulating a muscle, but if you want to build muscle and keep making progress, there's got to be progressive overload. Like, there's no way around it.
And that's that is the fair point, because at the end of the day, muscle only grows when it's been put under a stress that it's currently not used to. So I think Simon's right there in terms of progressive overload is required, and training with a goal and purpose is always required if you want to have any sort of development. And I think this really comes down to sort of understanding how to train all the different muscle groups whilst you're at home. And this is something that particularly to train shoulders, well, to train chest, triceps, and legs to a degree is fairly easy to do at home. I mean, push-ups for your chest, diamond push-ups or close position push-ups for your triceps, and squats, lunges, these types of things for legs. But I think the thing that a lot of people find difficult is, let's say, biceps and back. But one thing that I saw, which is really pretty good, well, you did one as well, like using a sort of chair to do like a sort of like single arm row, you know? Yep. I use a bag, fill that up with books, do a row, you know? But then also you can have a bag, do bicep curls, you know? It's simple things like that. And then you could actually have, I saw something where someone had a broomstick and they had a bag in between, you know, so they put the broomstick in the hole, bicep curls, but also you can do a sort of like back row as well with that. So it's really a case of trying to recreate the movements you see in the gym, but with equipment that you see. Because, for instance, using dips, you've talked about having this, like I'm sitting in a chair, using a chair, then just doing your dips. You're recreating that movement with a household item. So it's just really trying to use your gym knowledge, but into what you're doing at home. So again, if this is something that people need a bit more understanding guidance on, I mean, this is where you can sort of like message here or message myself or Simon. We can definitely sort of help on that. But I think Sean sort of said, well, yeah, I think we probably sort of maybe. You made it. You talked about that a little. Would you say it's possible to still make progress at this time, or are you guys more focused on maintaining? I mean, you've pretty much explained the progressive overload of training at home. I mean, personally, right now, I'm cutting right now, so that doesn't mean I'm not trying to make progress, but I'm still just more focused on making sure that I'm in this sort of calorie deficit, training hard, and going out for my walks. As we're currently allowed to go for walks right now. Hopefully that still stays in, or else I'll be screwed for my car. But that's what I'm sort of currently doing. But yourself, Simon, I take it then, are you still trying to maintenance or building phase? I mean, what are you trying to do? Well, what's your goal, as you said, because a goal is important.
Well, at this time of year, I was intending to go on a mini cut for 6 weeks because I was going to be going on holiday. So I think I'm probably going to stick to that plan. I'm going to go into probably a little bit more of a calorie deficit, lower calories, probably not more of a deficit, because I'm being quite inactive comparatively.
Yeah.
Because obviously being on your feet for 8 hours of the day at the gym, moving weights around and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
And now I'm sat playing PlayStation for 3 hours a day. Not going to lie. So obviously the activity is slightly different level. So I'm going to reduce my calories down. I'm actually going to do like a vlog starting on Monday, which I'm going to vlog my program so people can kind of follow what I'm doing. And I'm going to reduce my calories. So basically I'm going to cut for 6 weeks, but just a gradual cut, just to make sure, because without even thinking about it, you kind of keep eating like you used to eating. And I was doing that because I was just so used to being on my food plan. Yeah. And initially, I gained a little bit of body weight because obviously my activity went down.
Yeah.
So yeah, making adjustments there. But my goal is to basically improve in all of the lifts I'm doing from home, which are all new because they're all bands and body weight, and it's nothing that I do. Like I said, I want to be able to do 10 handstand push-ups because they're really hard. So it's just something that's difficult to challenge me from home. And really just lean down to I want to be really around 10% body fat after 6 weeks. So just go on a little cut because I want to be ready, and this is what I'm using the time. And another thing that I really want to make sure I've done is let my body heal of all the small injuries I built up over time. So I'm using the time very wisely to rest my shoulders, as much as I can on the press because I've got an impingement in my shoulder, so a bench press is really hard for me. So now doing the lighter high rep stuff is actually better. So it's kind of forced recovery because I was not recovering quickly because I kept doing weights. Which, sure, you understand. It's hard to stop sometimes. But yeah, that's basically what I'm doing now. So nothing too fancy. I'm going to try and keep making sure my strength is increasing if I can, whilst losing a little bit of body fat. So nothing fancy.
Yeah, no, and I think that's you raised a really good point in there, and this is something that can be used into a wider thing. I mean, you've talked about how having a goal for what you're doing is important. I mean, I've said that I'm trying to cut right now as well, so that's my goal. So something's still geared to that. And you've said that but you've went a step further in the sense of you're actually vlogging what you're doing. So that's given that extra bit of accountability to what you're doing to give you the motivation to want to do something. So that's something that our viewers hear, that if they feel the lack of motivation, well, even if you don't show that vlog on a YouTube, whatever, do it for yourself to chart what you're doing. Because then you don't want to disappoint yourself because you want to see that progress to show what you're doing in the vlog. So that's just one thing. It could be so much other things that you take in progress photos, or there's so many things you can do to sort of like keep you accountable to whatever the target is that you're wanting to do. You know, so I think that was a really good sort of like point that you've raised there, you know, and that's something that's going to help keep you accountable as well, I'd imagine. So yeah, no, that's sort of really good stuff there. But I think the real key thing with people's training here is that it's about trying to really grasp what their real intentions with their training is at this stage, to learn about how to actually train at home, what really exercises are useful for. I mean, we've talked about a few different ones, but what is useful for your back, your chest, your shoulders, and then start doing these and start getting used to actually what it's like training at home. Because I remember, because my first day where I started training at home, it did take me a while to get used to, because I'm used to training in the gym setting. But after that first session, I was like fine with it, because I'm going, okay, well, this is what I have to do. And that session actually wasn't bad. And I'm not sure if you've noticed that when you do body weight exercises, especially when you're not used to it, you actually do feel it. Like the little sort of muscles that you don't really use as much, because you don't need to stabilize yourself so much, because maybe you're using machines, or maybe you're so good at doing a certain gym-based movement. But when you're doing body weight, it is all the muscle stabilizing, so you really do feel it in a different way. Do you agree with that?
What you'd call novelty stimulus for people who haven't done it before. So the soreness is more first week, but also I think this will probably get a lot of especially bodybuilder types or people who are keen on fitness, that you have to let go of what you considered being strong or being good, because you're not doing any of the same exercises within reason. You might do a dip, or you might do something similar. So you can't compare. It's like comparing apples and oranges. You can't compare a bench press with a push-up. It's a different open chain, closed chain, blah, 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 if you want to get technical. But it's something that you haven't done before. So plan yourself a workout, do that workout, and then try and do it better next time. You can't compare it to what you were doing before, because it's not the same, but the stimulus is still there. So I think that's what's getting people. And I don't know if there's anyone else who does bodybuilding in the room, because I can't see the names, but if they decided today that you could never go back to a gym again, would you stop being a bodybuilder?
That is a very good question for a lot of people, and I think that what this has really shown is showing the people that really actually are in this for being in it, for training and developing themselves and the enjoyment of doing it. Because if someone said to me, Nana, you can't ever go to a gym ever again, I'd still do what I'm doing.
Exactly. That's the point.
It won't necessarily be like that. Because they feel that the atmosphere of the gym to put them forward. So then they've really got to look at this situation they can't change. So are they really going to wait 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, God knows, until they can get back to a gym? Or are they
Exactly.
just going to actually go, do you know what? This is the situation. I actually want to not only keep in shape, but get into better shape. This is what I need to do. And in doing that, they might actually develop not only a love for this, but when they go back to train the gym, their body is going to respond because it's not had to deal with that types of weights. But so they're going to get that extra benefit when they do go back. So I think that's a really good. I think that's a really good sort of thing there. And it'll be interesting to see what people's answers to that will be. Like Sean, if you're still listening to this, I mean, what would your answer be to that? Would you still want to do this if you couldn't train at a gym again? You know, because even for me with like squats, I mean, so before all this finished, I was able to do 3 sets of 10 reps for 145 kg squats. So I think that's like 319 pounds. So that's a decent amount. But when I started to do negative body weight squats, so that's just basically, for people watching it, maybe don't particularly know, that's just like maybe going down for about, let's say, 3 to 5 seconds before exploding back up. Doing 10 reps of that left my legs fried.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to what you said about how a bench press is not the same as a push-up. You know? They're two different things because it's how you load the exercise, how you do the exercise. The time under tension, which Simon talked about before, is a good way of training, especially when you're training at home. That fries your body because you're making the exercise heavier than it would be if you just did it normally to a degree.
Yeah, for sure. Contraction's different as well, and you can do in more control. Really, you see this comment, by the way. Unless we can't breathe anymore. Nice. That's what we want.
He knows the score. But,
yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I mean, and I think that really sort of, I mean, what we've sort of talked about here, I mean, it's really been about sort of the gym and how to really train during lockdown. But this is the same with a lot of the things that we're sort of really doing in life. I mean, a lot of times when, let's say if someone's done their training session, they've even went out and done their cardio if they're allowed to do that in the country that they're in, then still all this other time in the day that they might go, I'm bored, and that might lead them to like sit about, watch TV, or just snack on certain things. I mean, what would you sort of say? Sort of bear in mind what we've said about how to formulate training in a better way or to get the motivation levels for that. What would you say to someone who's saying, do you know what, I mean, I've got all this time, I just really don't know what to do, and it's making me even like overeat, or I'm feeling depressed and I'm then not training. What would you sort of say to someone in that situation?
Well, I think in terms of, not even just to do with training, at the minute, you've got more free time than you probably ever had in your life, unless maybe you've got kids, in which case you've got that. But if you got children at any age and they're at home now and they would be at school, hi Marlena, this is time you have with them you wouldn't usually have. So it's a blessing, really. Although it might be a tough blessing for some people because it's more work. And if you haven't got children, and I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in the UK, a lot of people are getting paid by the government to be at home as a furloughed employee, which means you just are at home. You're getting paid to do nothing. So why not do something? If you've ever wanted a side hustle, or you'd wanted to do something for yourself, or you'd wanted to learn an instrument, learn a language, like now you've got all this time. So it's actually a gift that you can use if you want. So if you always said you wanted to do something and you come out 2 months later and you haven't made any steps towards it, basically you're lazy. because you go to work for 8-9 hours a day, most people. Travel to and from work like half an hour to an hour, most people. So you're basically spending 10-11 hours of your day working for someone. And now, not everyone, because obviously some people are still working. God bless the people that still are. you've got all that time now to do something for yourself. So, and that doesn't happen in your life, really. So it's for a horrible reason. But the best thing that everyone's saying the best thing you can do is stay at home. So there's a lot of stuff you can do at home. Like, your home is supposed to be your sanctuary where you feel safe and everything. So people probably shouldn't be complaining about being at home. But also there's like I've taken up playing guitar again. It's my thing. So I've started trying to teach myself guitar again. I haven't picked up a guitar properly for like 15 years, but now I've got all this time, so why not learn it? It's like a skill I can relearn. So, I mean, I'm sure people can spend time with that, but I think the first thing people need to do when they're feeling like that is give themselves a routine. Get up at a set time, have a shower, get changed as if they're ready to attack the day. If you don't do that much for the first couple of weeks while you're getting used to it, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But at least get out of bed, have a wash, have breakfast. You know, but it's a stupid thing to say, but it's so easy.
That's what I'm laughing, because it's something that people, you saying it, they'll be like, do you know what? Yeah, I need to give myself that routine. You know. Yeah, that's one of the guys that they're saying he's just had to get used to training at home, but he's been getting really good results. But yeah, you never know. The thing is when you have to do something new, that's when you sort of realise what benefits you can get from it. But yeah, I mean, just to sort of like go back to the sort of point that you made there, like training at home, doing your home workouts, with everything else in life, we need to have a structure, because if we don't have a structure, we're just wasting time. The reason why a lot of people, when they are working, even though they complain when they are at work, the reason why now they feel lost without it is because work enforces a structure on you, that you have to get up a certain time, do a certain thing for your work, and then you come home. Now you don't have that. It's incumbent upon us that we need to put on our structure ourselves. So as Simon said before, saying you need get yourself up, get yourself dressed, you know. It's like, if you do that, you're setting yourself up to actually do something in that day, you know. So I mean, the importance of structure with what you're doing, with what we're all doing, is so important. But going back to, like, because you said that you're learning to like play guitar. I mean, is there any other things you're looking to try and make use of the time you have?
Like I said, I'm going to start this vlog. So, and the one thing that's going to come out of that is I'm going to start creating workout plans, like full structured workout plans, which is something I've kind of wanted to do a lot of the time, but you get stuck doing other things. So I'm going to spend some time on that. I'm going to start by doing a body weight one and put all of the workouts on the vlog. I'm not going to start trying to sell stuff. I just want to help people, really. So and like you said earlier, it motivates me sharing it, so I'm going to do that. I am taking a time out to do some just leisure time things that I haven't done for a long time. Like I said earlier, playing PlayStation. Although it sounds like a stupid thing, generally over the last year or so I haven't had any time to do that. So I'm just like taking a bit of leisure time out, doing that, and also just doing updates with like my business stuff, really, like behind the scenes on my like coaching and things. So not like things that I otherwise wouldn't have time to improve, I'm just spending the time doing now. And that's it, really. Might even start going for runs if I get desperate for activity, but at the moment I'm sticking for walks.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I hope that people that watch this sort of relate, because that's what you've said. There's a really good example of what we should be doing, because in the end of the day, I mean, with all that stuff that you've planned out there, in your coming days or your current days, are you generally feeling bored in your days?
Not really, to be honest.
And why do you think that is?
Because I feel like the days are going quicker because I'm doing stuff I actually want to do rather than going to work.
And that's the key point I was wanting to get here. So the people that through their days they're feeling bored, and that then starts to maybe play into other things and make this feel worse than it really is. You've got to fill your time with things that you actually want to do. Is there anything that you want to learn? Is there anything that you really have been wanting to do? Or even if a lot of these things involve stuff outside, you can start to like plan things that you would want to do once we get over this? Like, is there a specific type of holidays? Research that comes. There's so many things that we can sort of do during this time to not waste this time, and that's going to take our mind off things that might give us anxiety or things that might give us stress. You know, why not set up like a YouTube channel of you just talking about how you feel? I mean, we're in this age where we've got the technology to reach as many people as potentially possible, and this is what we're even doing in this sort of live chat right here to try and help people that are sort of in this situation of wondering what they can do during lockdown, be it fitness-wise and lifestyle-wise. So we've got this opportunity here. It's just up to us to make use of the technology that we've got. I mean, we're all pretty lucky that this didn't happen like 10, 15 years ago, because what the hell, how would we have been able to communicate with each other?
I know.
What's the plan? We've been able to deal with it?
No, we've been. Well, even some of the streaming services are struggling now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's something like I touched upon with someone I was talking to the other day, is that all the stuff you said about how you're going to fill your time and stuff, right? This, I think people should remember this, right? We are living history right now.
Yes. Yeah.
This is something that people talk about for years and years and years and years and years. Because
this is of years now.
Yeah, 100%. So we're living history. So when you're older and you're talking to your kids or your grandkids, what story do you want to be able to tell them about what you did when you were in lockdown? Are you going to say, I just sat on my ass and did nothing and watched films? Or are you going to make something out of that time?
Yeah.
But that's a true thing, right? Because there was that time that we had to stay in our houses and I had a barbecue one day and we just sort of sat and did nothing. Or later down the line, this is when my business really kicked off. This is when I started to learn a new language. This is how I know how to play guitar now. This is because it's like, literally, it's going to be like 2-3 months probably. It might even be longer of just time given to you.
Yeah.
Right. And it, like I say, it's for a horrible reason, but we need to make the most of it.
Yes.
And you're being responsible. So sat in your house learning something new or enjoying something that you like is responsible now. Like, that's what that is. So, yeah, I think it's actually an opportunity dressed up as a disaster for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. In the end of the day, it really comes down to, no matter what the situation is, there's always an opportunity in it. And you've pretty much listed off quite a few opportunities that we have here. We have the time to really much do anything that we've really dreamed of. And a lot of people who are watching this, be it live or be it on replay, I bet you there's times where you've been at work and you went, I wish I had a week off or a month off from this. Yeah. You've got that now. What are you going to do with it now? do you know what I mean? And I also put this on my Facebook group. It was more of a positive one because obviously there's a lot of, not necessarily negativity, but it's just a lot of anxiety with this situation.
Yeah.
And what it was is, tell me one thing that you think is good about lockdown. And people came up with some really good things, such as they've got more time to spend with their family. There's less travel time, so we're actually causing less pollution to the planet, which has actually been proven to be true.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Germany are actually on course to meeting their CO2 emissions target this year, which I think in general they plan to do that in 3 years' time, but they're actually on track to do it this year. It's actually scary that being in lockdown for about a month and a half is what it's taken to get them on track like that within a year. Yeah. So that's quite scary. But yeah, so there's that. People saying that they can now actually pursue hobbies. There's people now saying that they're actually able to just feel that they're actually able to unwind a little bit.
Yeah.
Having sort of the proper held-on stress of actually going into work and doing that type of thing. So it just really goes to show that depending how you look at this, that will be your outcome. If you look at this going, oh, my normal life is gone, what do I do? I mean, this lockdown sucks, I can't go out and do things. Then yes, you're going to manifest that and it's going to suck for you. But if you go, okay, this is the situation, I've actually can do this. I can set up a YouTube channel. I can get my workouts done. I can actually get my meals in because I don't need to go out and buy like ready-made meals. I can actually have my own proper meals, and I know what's going in them. Your nutrition really should actually be on point now because you are at home. You know,
Yeah.
You can read those books you want to read. Hell, you can write a book that you've wanted.
Yeah. True.
It's completely unlimited what you can do. I mean, you put it well this time. It's like, this is time that is given to us that in a year's time you probably won't have this. And are you going to squander this right now just because, as Simon said, it's not for a great reason, but what are you going to do with this time? And I think that's really what this sort of like quarantine fitness and life is really about. It's about making people understand that you've got this opportunity to actually do what you want with this time, you know? And when you look at it that way, it is actually quite inspirational with what we actually have been afforded here to a degree.
Yeah, and I think when people want to be negative, the one thing you got to think that if you're healthy and you're at home, you're in a very good position right now because not everyone is that lucky.
Yeah.
And there's people who are doing stuff, keeping us well, keeping us safe, NHS, frontline workers and all that stuff. So there's people running the country for you. So, well, that's it.
Yeah,
there's people out there putting themselves at risk so that you can be at home and be safe. So make it worth it. Do you know, like, don't waste what those people are doing because there's all those people that haven't got the luxury of being at home like us. And let's be honest, it is a luxury because we're in a non-essential business to be at home. So, like, make it worth it. And while I'm on the subject, if you do learn something new or you do manage to do something that you can give back to the community, tell someone that can't. This is what I'm doing while you're helping us. I'm helping as many people as I can. Like this thing we're doing now, hopefully will help people. So, I mean, help people in whatever way you can. And I think one phrase, I think I read, don't think I made it up, but the other day that was really key to me as well, because I want to touch on the social aspect of everything, because there's some people who are at home on their own, is a lot of people say it's social distancing we need, and I don't agree with that. I think we need physical distancing, but I think at the moment it's social solidarity that we need. We need to be able to contact people if we need help, and people need to be able to reach out if they're struggling, because, I mean, I'm at home with my wife. So I've got someone here all the time to talk to. We bounce off each other. I'm not on my own, but I appreciate that some people are. And for that reason, I think like I would always say I'm approachable. People can message me, phone me if they've got my phone number. And I think that's really important now, because I think a lot of the reason why some people aren't so motivated is because they are on their own. And I think it does make you realise where your motivation comes from. I mean, for me, I realised that I had to really push myself to be motivated to train because I'm used to people watching me, which sounds like such a stupid thing. But when I'm in the gym and I know, like, eyes are on you a little bit, even people aren't watching you, but you kind of go, oh, I've got to do that extra rep. But when you're at home, it's really easy to just go, I'm done now. So, and it made me realise that I thought all my motivation was coming from inside, but it's not. It's not. It comes externally, even if you don't realise it, and that affects some people more than others. I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I think it's important to realise that there's some people are struggling, some people are lazy, but some people genuinely need help. And I think those are the people that we need to really try and look after at the minute.
I think that, well, what my hope is once this is all said and done is that we actually all have a better sense of community and community spirit towards each other, because I think that that's one thing that was actually really being lost. I mean, I think a lot of things were just really a bit individualistic. Like, what can I get out of this? What benefit can I get? Whereas this virus, I think the worst thing about this situation is actually not necessarily the virus, and that might seem controversial, but really it's actually what this virus is showing. This virus only propagates because of us being greedy and us only thinking about ourselves. Because if everyone just does what we were meant to do, like shelter in place, if you want to use the American way of saying it, or stay at home, not to say that this virus would be eradicated, but it would not be as prevalent as it is now. For instance, like in the UK, Boris Johnson on the 20th of March, that was our almost proper day of when lockdown was starting. He said, right, from now on, no one, we're not going to have pubs, clubs, restaurants, all these things are going to be locked down. In the UK, so many people went out that night because they had the thought of, well, because pubs are going to be shut, let me go out for one last drink. As much as I can understand, inverted commas, their thought process, because they're saying, oh, because it's going to be shut down for God knows how long, I may as well go for one more drink. They're going out where there's lots of other people, so they're making infection grow even more. Yeah. So the increased rate of death and infection that's happened has probably been because of lots of people going out during that time, as morbid as that sounds, but the thing is, it preys on people only think about themselves. And that's really what this virus has been showing, that the more selfish we are, we're going to get punished for it. So it's actually making us realise that we should be doing things for other people rather than just purely for ourselves. I mean, is that something that you think?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think, and I think also this whole time has been difficult because of the information being up and down and people not really knowing what to think. Right? Is it not serious? Is it really serious? Am I going to be okay because I'm young, or am I still going to die if I get it? Like there's been a lot of stuff where people don't really understand how serious it is. And I think even at this point, like I went out for my walk earlier.
Yes.
I don't go into a town centre, but I go into Canary Wharf, and it's not busy now because there's no one working, but you realise that there's a big lack of consideration on the social distancing thing that we're supposed to adhere to. Yeah. Like people are just out walking like normal, and you think, well, actually, but things shouldn't be normal now. Yeah. Like when people go, I'm just going to continue like normal, but stuff shouldn't be normal. That's the point. Like if your life is the same as it was before lockdown, you're doing something wrong. But that's true, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of it's down to lack of education. I don't think it's because people don't care, because generally, when it boils down to it, even the most inconsiderate person will care if they live or die, but in basic terms. So I think a lot of that is just down to people being a little bit ignorant about how serious what's happening actually is, which is scary considering how prevalent it is in the media, because I'll admit I don't read the news, generally speaking. I don't watch the news, read the news. I don't know anything that goes on in the world, really, but I know everything about this because it's everywhere. So
it's everywhere, and as I said before, it impacts everyone. So it is quite important for us to sort of know a bit more about it and to take it seriously. But I think that the issue with it is that because most governments initially didn't take it seriously, I think it made the public not necessarily take it as seriously. So they've got their hand in this, really. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is a global issue, and it's something that is a leveler for everyone. And all we really need to do is to do the things that are going to keep us safe, and that generally is to sort of like stay at home unless it's essential things that we're doing. So when you really do think about it, that's not necessarily a difficult thing for us to do, especially as you said that there's people out there that are having to work because they're doing proper essential things. So they're doing that for us on our behalf. So all we need to do is think of a few hobbies to come up with or new skills to work at and to polish up and work at. I mean, is that really the worst thing in the world that we could be charged with doing?
Yeah. Even if for you it's binge watching a load of movies, just do something that makes you happy in the time you've got to do it. Because I'm a little bit biased because my mum works in Waitrose, so my mum's on the front line, and I've got friends that work in the NHS. So I'm like, do your bit to keep people I know safe. And everyone should really feel like that. I mean, not everyone's got friends working on the front line or family working on the front line, but really, like what it boils down to is there's a lot of people who are at more risk than the people who've got to stay home. So I think we can all find ways. And I mean, I'm always open. My DMs are always open to people who want ideas. I've got loads of ideas that I haven't got time to do myself because I've got too many ideas. Do it for me.
That could be the subject of our next live in this, you know, that ideas for people, you know, they can like they can throw out ideas, or we can give out ideas. Like, go, if you don't know what you're doing, we'll give you some ideas for what you should do to give back to society. if you've got so much time, if you've got so much, if people got so much time in their hands, then okay, we'll create some sort of like things they can do. But that's what it's about. Really think deep down. Or even what is it you actually want to really achieve in life? What is it you really want to do? This is where you can set that plan of action. Yeah. If you have the time. I mean, there's I think that's the thing. There's so much opportunity, people don't realise it. So maybe I'm hoping it takes some of this for people to really just wake up and smell that coffee of like what is actually out there for them to do, you know. And I think for people, it's because we've been like, let's say we do like sort of competition preps. Now that we're in the groove of this to a degree, I think this is similar to that type of situation where it's like, you know, you want to get to the end goal of getting to the best sort of physique or package that you can show at the end of it. But to do that, you know, you need to go through a few weeks or a few months of where it will absolutely suck, but you need to do it anyway. That is the same with this. We all want to get out of this alive and with the economy back going the way it was, but to do that, we just need to go through these periods where we just need to like not be able to go out to pubs, clubs, restaurants, all these types of things, because that is just going to not make this be over as quickly as it needs to be. So it's just getting through that type of period, similar to like what people who want to do a competition, or even let's say someone who's studying for exam, we just need to go through that period, because at the end of it, it'll be worth it. It's that sacrifice. I think that's what people need to sort of realise. That sacrifice isn't always bad.
So, like we say, is it's what's the phrase? Basically, need to. I can't even remember what the phrase is, but you need to have a plan. But basically, if you want to achieve something by the end of your stay-home period, you need to have a plan. Like prep's a really good example, because you've got a real clear end goal, and you've got set stages along the way what you need to do to get there. So, I mean, could be anything. Like even if you just wanted to create a TikTok account and make stupid videos, if it entertains you and it entertains other people during that time, there's loads of people doing it, but it's fun. And it's social, which is what you need right now. Interaction with other people is good. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be a business plan. Not everyone has aspirations to work on their own. So not everyone will want to do something business-like. For me, it's a great opportunity because it's something that I want to do eventually. Just have my own business, so I can spend time working on that. But I think get a plan of action, really. And I think that's what a lot of people like rudderless boats now, because they don't really know where they're going. They don't know when it's going to go back to normal, because there's no set end. So it's the uncertainty that makes people not want to commit to something. And I think that's the main issue. I don't know about you.
I think there's always an issue when people have too much time in their hands but not enough things to do with it. I think that's what really makes things an issue. But then that's why, as you've talked about, having a goal, having a plan, having a structure of something to do. I mean, you've talked about even something like making funny videos on TikTok. Something like that would entertain someone. That's you making someone's day. So something simple as that, or even writing a blog. If something's getting you down, write a blog. Someone else might actually be feeling the same way. That's I mean, we're coming to the last sort of 5 minutes of this, but it's like that should really show people this. Like, we could talk about for hours the types of things people could do, but it's like, you think about yourself. What is it that you want to do to fill your time? What will actually make this quarantine feel easier for you? What is it you want to get out of this, you know? And then come up with it. Simon's talked a few things of what he's doing. For me, it's still continually working on my business because I'm an online fitness coach. When this happened, the first thing I did was I revamped all my clients' programs so they could do home workouts, so they didn't lose out on the progress that they were making. It took me a while to do it because I was like, because it was a Friday that everything got locked down, so I wanted to make sure by Monday that everyone had home workouts. So I put all the effort just to get that sort of done there. But now that I've done it, now I can actually train anyone if they want to train at a gym or train at home now. So this is the opportunity that's given. If this didn't happen, I wouldn't have done that. So it comes down to what are you going to make of the situation that you're in. There's opportunity in any circumstance that happens. It's just that we've got to make the most of that. I mean, is that something you agree with?
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to throw another one of those little phrases out there. Is opportunities often missed because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work.
Yes, I like that one.
but a lot of the time, there is a choice, isn't there? So you're at home, you can do nothing and you can watch TV, or you could work on something. And a lot of the time, the work is the harder thing. So it's kind of like, that's why you end up. But that's, again, if you were to do that work, whatever it might be, and then say I'm going to do 2 hours a day on a project. Yeah. But 2 hours. But then you finish that 2 hours and then you can celebrate your achievements by going to watch a film or play PlayStation or whatever it might be. But it doesn't mean that you have to do it all day. You don't have to work all day. You've got all that.
You don't train all day.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, I'm still training an hour a day, an hour and a half maximum, and doing my 45 minutes to an hour of walking. Yeah. And that's it. That's my activity. And I've got to fill the rest of the day. Yeah. I sleep in a little bit because I can. Why not? But I've still got a lot of time to fill. So, yeah. But I've got to be honest, for the first week, I didn't do a lot at all because I didn't have a plan. So, case in point.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, really, I think that's really a good way to sort of really end this part one of our chats here. But yeah, I think the key thing with this is we need to have a plan. I mean, and this comes to a phrase that I like. Failure to plan is planning to fail. So in this situation here, do you want to fail?
Nope.
You don't, because the fact that people are worried about this virus means they want to still be on this earth. So that means that we feel that we still got a lot more to give. So we need to prove that. What is it that we're trying to give here? Is it that we want to be healthy for our friends, family, kids, all these type of things? Is it that we feel that we've got a business idea that we want to put there? Is it that we have a few hobbies that we want to be able to really work on, be it play guitar, piano? What? It's literally endless of what we could actually do here. We've got the gift of time right now, so as Simon said, we may as well use it. I mean, is there any sort of closing points you want to sort of raise?
But only that, if, to be honest, like I've said it a couple of times in this live, but some people skip to the end. And I think you would be the same to say if anyone needs to talk or needs help with their fitness programming or just someone to talk to, don't be scared to reach out to people or us.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to talk to anyone who's stuck for something to do or is upset or is worried or just wants to revamp their fitness. Yeah. So yeah, don't be scared to reach out because you need to maintain your social links if you're on your own. And I think really at the end of the day, if you do nothing or you do something, your future's still going to come. We're still going to come out of this as long as you look after yourself, but make sure you look after your mental health. And I think that might be a key point to talk about in the future is mental health.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree because the mental and physical can't be separated. I think the main thing with this is actually just how it's impacting people mentally. That's where the depression comes from, the lack of potential contact. But then this is where have a Zoom call with your friends, have a chat like we're doing right now. It doesn't need to be a live chat. You can actually do these types of chats just straight off Instagram, just with someone that you know.
Yeah.
We've got 100%. The technology. Use it, But yeah, I think that's come up to the last sort of minute with this one. So I'd like to
Cool.
thank Simon again, and we'll have him on for sort of another one coming up very soon. But stay safe, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. See you
Thanks for
soon.
that, Simon.
Take care.